with Nikki because she was slender. She was diagnosed as being pre-diabetic, and she also has a glucose intolerance. So when Nikki went to the doctor and she found out that she had all these things going on, there was one thing that the doctor had told Nikki is, you need to exercise every day. Every single day you need to exercise because this is what's going to make you feel better. Nikki's argument at the doctor was, I do exercise. I go to boot camp 3 times a week. He said, you've got to keep going. You have to keep going. Sometimes Nikki has problems and she'll notice it right away if she eats pizza. She goes into a coma at night. If she eats too many carbs during the day, she literally goes home and she goes to sleep.
Will you define carbs?
With Nikki, it's, for me it's a little confusing, but for Nikki, she'll notice that if she eats too much pasta,
Starch.
Yeah, starchy type things. Pizza. I think pizza has a lot of carbs, right?
A lot of starch.
Or starch.
Starch.
So yeah, to me it's very confusing. So if she eats a lot of starch, she finds out that she feels terrible, and she sleeps. She's just exhausted, she can't do anything. So when Nikki starts watching that, and I work with Nikki during the day, and it's funny to watch her because every morning we will take in a hard-boiled egg, a hot and spicy tomato juice, a V8, and a banana, and that's what we sit and eat in the morning. And then I notice that she eats vegetables throughout the day, and then she's been real careful. If she eats starches, you know, she usually tries to stick with the whole wheat. If Nikki sticks on this kind of thing, she does very well. It's when she kind of goes off of that and she starts eating what the rest of her family wants to eat. If they're busy or if they're out, she kind of runs into trouble that way. She has a hard time with that. How old is she? She is
32.
She's going to be about 33. I can't keep track of my kids anymore. And I think she found this out just a couple of years ago. And I actually think that it was when she was pregnant with her second child that they had started to notice some things with her. So then with my husband got to be about 50 pounds overweight. He likes his candy, his ice cream, you know, all of these things. When we first started to notice that he was not feeling well, he would have terrible night sweats. Even during the day, there were times at work where he would have to pull over because he would start to just sweat and shake, and he couldn't drive. Sometimes these would last about 5 minutes, sometimes they'd last 15 minutes. And they were just things that literally stopped him from functioning. So he went to the doctor told him, oh, you have type 2 diabetes, we need to get you on medication, you need to start losing some weight. We ended up finding out that it is in his family. He had a brother that was type 2 who was thin, and I'm not sure, but I think his sister, who is a little overweight, has the same thing. So they put my husband, he found out that his sugar, and I wish I could remember, but his sugar level was extremely high. And I want to say that it was in about the 400s, because it was like, the doctor was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe your sugar levels are this high. And we went immediately to the pharmacy. We had to buy a thing where we were taking blood so many times a day to see what his sugar levels were. They put him on medication for that. He found out that he had very high blood pressure, very high. And he's also got, I'm just going to say quickly, he's got heart disease in his family, terribly, really bad. His dad passed away, his uncles, everybody's got heart disease. So his blood pressure was very high, very high. So they started putting him on all these different medications, and at one point, he would literally sit at the table. He would have 12 to 14 bottles of medication, very expensive, I might add, and we would put these in a day-to-day, container. And this was morning and night. he was taking all this medication. Well, the problem that my husband had, and I was bad too, we figured, well, you're on all this medication, you can eat whatever you want. And he did. Ate whatever he wanted. We just really didn't pay attention to anything else, thinking that the medication would, control the diabetes. Well, we found out really quick that that doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. He wasn't feeling any better. Sometimes he was worse. Sometimes he'd come home from work and he would just be asleep. And he'd go back to the doctor and they'd say, oh, well, we'll change this or we'll add this. And it was just frustrating for me because it was a constant adding of this and adding more of one pill or, never taking anything off. We were never taking anything off. So when he started to get really serious about everything, we sat down and we thought, okay, this has got to stop. No more candy in the house. No more ice cream. We started eating more vegetables. We've always ate lean meat. We've never really ate a lot of meat, a lot of chicken. But as far as anything, no steak. I don't remember the last time we had steak or anything, not a lot of red meat. And we had to start controlling things that way. So he would get up in the morning and he'd eat a little bit of breakfast because he was never a big breakfast eater. And when I would pack his lunch, we were eating whole wheat bread. I was packing vegetables till he was throwing them away behind my back because he was so tired of them. I'd take garbage out. I'd go, why are these vegetables still in the garbage? It's like, busted. You're not eating these vegetables. So anyway, we just kind of kept doing that, and slowly, very slowly, he started to take weight off. He didn't work out because he was on his feet all day. He delivers pharmaceuticals and stuff like that, so he's constantly running and feeling like he was getting his exercise that way. He would come home exhausted. There was no way he was going to do anything else. So slowly, he started to lose weight. We got into a good habit of, no candy. We bought fruit instead of candy. Sometimes I look at the fruit and I think, why is fruit so expensive? But if you go to the candy counter, the bags are 2 for $7. You can buy a lot of fruit for $7. So we kind of changed those things, and it took a while. But he started to lose the weight, not without scary things happening. We had to learn that he couldn't eat a banana and an orange together. He had to choose. Because of the sugar in the fruit, he had to choose, do I want an orange or do I want an apple? Things that we had to find out he couldn't eat together. Could never eat grapes. Could never eat grapes because there was so much sugar in grapes. So the best thing as far as fruit for him was either oranges or apples, so we always had a lot of those. And he would have to choose, which was fine. But slowly the weight began to come off. When the weight started to come off, the doctor started to take away the pills, and he was going every 3 months to have a blood test and to have all these tests run, and then to kind of see where he was with that. Once the weight started to come off, the pills started to go away. The blood pressure started to come down. His sugar levels started to come down. And so we were really feeling like we were doing the right thing because things were starting to happen. So we kind of felt like we were being successful. As it is right now, he's on a high blood pressure pill, which I think a lot of that is genetic. And